Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to do a video on Quicksilver. Of course, you know Quicksilver is somehow in Wandavision, and it's not the Quicksilver that was played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's now Evan Peters. Some people have many speculations, and I know I touched on this in my spoiler review for WandaVision episode 5, but I am going to be talking about it right here. And since time has passed, we're almost a week away from the previous episode and like 2 days away now from the next all-new episode. I decided to do a spoiler video about this theory on Quicksilver, on who I think he could turn out to be. Do I think it's actually Quicksilver from the X-Men universe? Do I think it's the same Quicksilver from Age of Ultron, just reincarnated or something? I got some theories. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to say is let's get into the reasons why it's not Quicksilver. That's what I want to get into first. So the first thing is the hair. The hair is a big glaring thing. If you go back and watch X-Men X-Men Days of Future Past, or X-Men Apocalypse, or even I believe Dark Phoenix, which are all the three movies that Evan Peters appears in as Quicksilver, his hair is very silvery. So that's the first thing to notice. If you look at the hair that they give him in this episode of WandaVision, his hair is silver, but with some dark areas as well. It's more in tune with what Aaron Taylor Johnson's hair was in Age of Ultron. So that's one big glaring thing on how this could be contradictive to who, if this is really the X-Men version of that character. Either that or Kevin Feige is saying F you to Fox and their X-Men properties. The next thing is the accent. This is something that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, but it's something that I noticed. If you hear the way Evan Peters is playing the character in this scene, now to be fair, it's only one scene, but bear with me here. In this one scene of WandaVision that we are introduced to Evan Peters as Quicksilver, he talks in this macho accent, like, hey, can I get a little hug from my little sis or something like that, right? I know I screwed that up, but he does this little macho accent, and if you go back and watch the X-Men movies that he's in, he doesn't play it like that. He plays it like a little bit more like he's someone that is very high on cocaine and talks very fast, and you know, so I think the accent is another thing going on here. Now, maybe in the next episode, he starts speaking a little bit more to his character from the X-Men films, but it's just a glaring thing that I noticed. If you see the way he plays it, it is a little bit different. Another thing is the name of Quicksilver. Now, David, he's Quicksilver. What do you mean? She called him Pietro. That's the thing. She called him Pietro. He did acknowledge, but if you go back and watch those X-Men films, they don't call him Pietro. They call him Peter. Now, yes, you could say Pietro and Peter are pretty much the same name, just in a different language. But still, it is a glaring thing that, you know, Peter, what's his name in those X-Men films, and now all of a sudden Pietro is his name, in that he's accepting that pronunciation of his name. Just something to point out there. Now, what are the reasons how it could be Quicksilver? Well, other than the fact that he's played by Evan Peters, who also played him in the X-Men movies, there's also the fact that it's interesting that the decade they decided to bring him into this show was the 80s, because you know what X-Men movie took place in the 80s, right? X-Men Apocalypse took place in the 80s. Just interesting to point that out there. I thought that was interesting thinking about that. That those X-Men films that Evan Peters was introduced in. Yes, he was introduced in Days of Future Past first, which took place in the 70s, but Apocalypse, which is another big one and memorable for Quicksilver. Everybody remembers the Quicksilver moments in those two films. The 80s apocalypse took place during. Now, how could this be? If it is him, how could this be? Could Wanda have brought him, Wanda or somebody brought him from that multiverse? And if so, how come all of a sudden Wanda is his sister and he's accepting of this? Because if you go back and watch those X-Men movies, we do see him with a little girl who most people presumed, I think it was in X-Men Days of Future Past. We see him watching the TV at the very end of X-Men Days of Future Past when Magneto carries the stadium to the White House and all that. And he's watching the news and he sees Magneto, his father, on television. And there's the little girl who many presume that was the Fox's version of Wanda. Could they somehow connect all that? Or maybe his mind is wiped. His mind is wiped from that universe, and now he's just plucked into this universe, just automatically. Don't worry about what you've seen in the X-Men films. You know where he was originally from, but now we're just like plucking people out of different universes and bringing them back for this universe. I mean, that could explain it. We do know that Deadpool is going to be now part of the MCU. Is this going to be that way for Deadpool to cross over as well? Is Wanda just going to bring Deadpool over here? There's been rumors that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield might be in Spider-Man 3. Now, I know Tom Holland said they're not, but I don't believe him. I really do not believe Tom Holland on this. I think he is lying, and because Tom Holland, he can't keep secrets, so the best way to do it is just say, you know what, it's not happening. And then watch, it's going to happen. There is no way in my mind. You're telling me that Jamie Foxx, who is from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movie, is coming. And then Alfred Molina, who played Doc Ock from a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, is coming. But you're not going to get the two Spider-Mans that are connected to those two villains. And now there's already rumors going around that Willem Dafoe was spotted on set. Apparently, Tobey Maguire was also spotted on set. So I don't know how much I trust Tom Holland in this case. Marvel has lied in the past, so it could be that Kevin Feige just told Tom Holland, "Look, Tom, just lie, okay? Just tell them no, they're not in the movie." That will get them to stop asking you questions about it, because people, I think they know that they're always going to be harassed about the question, but they'll never be able to answer it. So maybe the best way to get reporters off their back is just by saying, no, they're not in it. That to me is the only logical sense. I do not believe that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are not in this movie. I think they are, even if it's a cameo. And it's not like they didn't lie to Tom Holland in the past. Apparently Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo did not know that they were filming a funeral scene at the end of Endgame. So maybe he doesn't know. And he even says that in the interview that he didn't know. Even if they were, nobody told him that they were. So it could also be that he just doesn't know that they're in it, and everybody's like keeping that secret away from him because they know he's capable of spilling the beans once in a while. I don't believe him. I think they're going to be in it, and I think Evan Peters could be proof on how they could do this. Let's not forget, J.K. Simmons is also in this universe. And now it's being confirmed that Wandavision takes place 8 months before Spider-Man Far From Home, which means maybe even J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson could be part of this whole bringing back old characters thing into frustration, you know? So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Who knows? Maybe what this is doing is they're bringing characters from another universe and making them appear in this universe. But then in reality, it's going to be like, maybe in Spider-Man 3, The reason why Tom Holland doesn't know, I'm just going for all out here. Maybe he transforms into Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield at one point in the movie, and that's why Tom Holland doesn't even know that they're in the movie. They're like filming scenes separately from him because maybe they're gonna do like a transformation thing. I don't know. I'm just, who knows what the hell's going on. I'm still unsure with the Evan Peters thing, what's going on. And that's the great thing about WandaVision. And I'm sure answers will be coming to light as the season wraps up. Remember, we're only 4 more episodes away, so anything is possible. So if he's not the Quicksilver from X-Men, or if he's not Quicksilver altogether, who else could this Pietro character be? Could he be a reincarnated version of Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver? Maybe. Could he be Jimmy Woo's informant that he had in the town before the town, had this effect on them? And that maybe the guy doesn't even remember that he was part of the town, just like everybody else. Maybe his mind was wiped. He doesn't remember who he was, and since he wasn't supposed to be there anyways, maybe Agnes, who I think is the real villain of this story, maybe she wiped his memory and say, hey, you be Pietro, okay? Maybe it's just some random person who was in the town. If Jimmy Woo does not say anything about this Pietro in this coming episode, if he doesn't say, hey, that's the guy who I sent into the town, then okay, that theory is out. Maybe he's just some random person who lived in the town. Because remember, it says that apparently 3,000 people lived in the town, if I remember correctly. So over 3,000. But so he could be one of those 3,000 people. Who knows? We haven't met everybody, obviously. Could he be Mephisto? Mephisto, that's a theory I've been hearing a lot lately. I mean, it's possible. But then wouldn't have we heard something about Evan Peters being in the Doctor Strange movie, which they're filming in London? We know already Elizabeth Olsen is down in London, already filming that movie with Benedict Cumberbatch. Wouldn't we have heard that Evan Peters was down there too? I'm starting to doubt that Mephisto is... If Mephisto is in this show, I have a feeling he's going to be a CGI character. And that's why we haven't heard anything about a Mephisto casting yet. But then again, there's a couple of other actors. I heard Dominic West, which I think I did mention in my spoiler review, was supposed to be in this show. We haven't seen him yet, and we're already 5 episodes in. I mean, anything is possible. I think that's about it, guys. That's all I have to say on this matter. I think if I had to guess, I'm going to guess he's the guy that Jimmy was talking about in episode 4. His informant that was in the town and went missing. I don't think he's going to turn out to be connected to the X-Men universe. I think Marvel wants to introduce the X-Men in their own way. I think this is just a nice little way to mess with us for now. I think we're going to find out in this coming episode that no, he's not from the multiverse. But then again, now knowing that Spider-Man Far From Home takes place 8 months after WandaVision, or 7.5 months, whatever, it's the same. I think that theory is possible, that maybe he is from the multiverse, which is why Nick Fury and what's her name, Agent Maria Hill, were so easy to believe Mysterio when he told them that he was from the multiverse. So maybe because that is something that was already open and easy this is one of Wanda's things. Maybe that's what they thought. So we'll have to wait and see. You know what? 4 more episodes, guys. 4 more episodes, and then everything will most things will be explained. With that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please leave down your theories in the comment section below if you want. I'm always open to hearing what other people are saying, especially my own subscribers. I want to be more interactive with you guys, so let me know. And until next time, take care.